everybody. Welcome back to episode 69 of Benny in the Booth podcast. Thank you so much for the support to this point. I very much do appreciate it. I am starting this episode a little bit later than usual due to, uh, well, obviously the holiday this week. Jewish holiday Firm was this week, so there was no chance I was going to be able to record Tuesday night. And then today I had to go back in for class, and by the point I was ready to sit down was basically now. But I don't want to live stream this late, so I'm just recording this and going to put it up as soon as I can on YouTube. But today's episode, I'm going to be giving you the rest of my predictions recap. We're going to dive into the games that happened so far. Not full upcoming schedule, but a schedule for tonight and tomorrow, and then key games for Saturday and Sunday that generally people know of, and some NFL news because there's been some big NFL news. So let's finish off my predictions. So my predictions with Sean Spradling, which if you guys like, please let me know if you guys enjoyed A, the episode, and B, if you enjoyed Sean. Feedback I have gotten so far, people did enjoy the guest. I really hope you guys did, but please let me know. I would love feedback on the episode and or the guest Sean Spradling. But yeah, I'm gonna finish off my predictions. So the semifinal matchups that I had in my predictions was Netherlands against the Dominican Republic and United States versus Japan. My predictions for semifinals, if they play out this way, which would be fully in Miami, I have DR beating the Netherlands and I have Japan beating USA. Set up a final between the Dominican Republic and Japan, which actually was almost the final in 06, except Dominican fell to Cuba in the semifinals. But I have the Dominican Republic beating Japan in the final to capture the 2023 WBC. That is my predictions from where I had left off. So let's go over what's happened to this point. Sitting down Thursday around 8:51 p.m., right before games were about to kick off from Taiwan and Japan, respectively, tonight. So, Taiwan game, the first game we had, the first game that was played was Netherlands and Cuba. And, well, one thing we got instantly learned out of this pool in Taiwan is that good luck trying to hit home runs. I don't know if it's dimensions or if it's like the wind. I mean, the wind was blowing out at certain points in the games. In one of at least the opener. But one thing we learned right away is that good luck trying to get an offense because you ain't getting offense. You get home runs because you ain't getting a lot of home runs. In Taiwan, instantly learned that in the opener in this game between Netherlands and Cuba. Netherlands struck first, taking a 1-0 lead. Cuba, both stars pitched well, tied 1-1 going into the sixth. Netherlands took the lead on an RBI from Didi Gregorius. Sorry, Cuba struck first, and Netherlands scored. And Cuba ended up putting up a 3-run six to go up 4-1. Cuba would get 1 run back, but thanks to dominant pitching from the Netherlands would beat Cuba 4-2 to take the first game of Pool A. Panama and Chinese Taipei. Going into this game, Panama, who hadn't been in a WBC game since 2009, had a 27 scoreless inning streak going since that last appearance between 06 and 09. And after 3 from the game against Taiwan, went up to scored 12 runs. In this game, between multiple big innings that both lasted with 5-run fourth and 6-run sixth, and an extra run in the 7th or 8th innings, both lasting over a half hour, in their 12-5 win over Taiwan to capture that game, which is a big win for them. This game could have been a mercy rule, actually, which is 15 runs by the 5th, 10 runs by the 7th, 10 runs by the 7th was one that was close to happening, but Taiwan got the first home run of the pool. That saved it from being a mercy rule. And the second to last game to go over from the Taiwan pool, Panama and Netherlands behind Xander Bogaerts homer in the third, solo homer in the third, and Jurickson Profar solo home run in the fifth. And dominant start from Sharon Martis, who had in 06 thrown a no-hitter on a mercy rule against Panama. Dominated Panama as the Netherlands beat Panama 3-1, and they are 2-0, moving inches closer to being that top winner out of Pool A. And then Italy, Cuba, this game was crazy. Italy took a 2-0 lead. Cuba fought their way back, tying it in the 8th. But thanks to a 4-run 10th, Italy majorly upsets Cuba, winning 6-3. Cuba would get a run back in the bottom of the 10th. I should say with WBC, the Ghost Runner does apply to WBC right away. Ghost Runner starts 10th inning and on, which definitely helped both, more Italy because they had a 4-run inning. Cuba also helped because that run would score to make it 6-3. But in the end, Italy wins 6-3, and at this point, possibly putting Cuba out of any chance to be able to come back and still win, be able to come back and still try to get out of Pool A into Japan. That is the story to this point from that pool of WBC. Standings for Pool A from Taiwan. Netherlands are first to 2-0, followed by 1-0 Italy, followed by 1-1 Panama, followed by 0-1 Chinese Taipei/Taiwan, followed by 0-2 Cuba in 5th place. That is for Pool A. Now for Pool B, which there haven't been that many games. The games we have had have actually been interesting. Australia, Korea kicked it off, but this game actually started late because Fox Sports had a college basketball, I think it was Big East conference tournament game that ran into 10 o'clock Eastern. But this game was crazy. Australia struck first. Korea took the lead temporarily 4-1. Australia, though, thanks to Robbie Glendening 3-run homer in the 7th and Robbie Perkins 3-run homer in the 8th, were able to build up an 8-4 lead. Korea would fight back to make it 8-7, but some wacky moments turned the game, and Australia was able to barely edge out Korea 8-7 for a major upset. Tommy Edman had a decent game, but he ended the game by getting caught stealing at second base. Ha-Seong Kim had a pretty good game. By the way, the Cuba bats of the majors for them have been bad. They're like 2 for 17, I think, or something like that so far in WBC play. Not a good thing for Cuba at all. Last thing Cuba needed. And, like, it's crazy because, like, they were possibly, most people thought they would be at most winner of Pool A, if not runner up, and now they might not even get out of Pool A. But anyways, and then a wacky play, I think it was like off a pickoff attempt. Pinch runner who had a double had gone back to second base, but for an instant, his foot came off the bag. Australia infielder applied the tag. They called safe originally, but after review confirming off the bag, foot off the bag, tag on him, they called him out, ended the inning, which got it out, and that ended up stinging because that's crucial base runner. That was the tying run and ended up getting left stranded. Also, with bases loaded, 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th, Korea guy hit ball that, if it was fair, would have given Korea the lead, but stayed foul. He ended up striking out to end the inning. Australia wins 8-7. And then Japan against China, it was all Japan. Shohei Ohtani 2 for 4 with a double, 2 walks, 2 RBIs, and a run. Big 2-run double in the 4th. And also went 4 innings, giving up 1 hit, 0 earned runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Just dominated. Lars Nootbaar had a big game himself, 2 for 4, 2 walks, 2 runs, and a stolen base. Shugo Maki had a home run for Japan in the 7th. China had a home run also in this game for their 1 run, but it was all Japan beating China 8-1. to start Pool A. So the standings up until this point, not really much for now, but a tie first between Australia and Japan, both 1-0, and then China, and then Czech in third, not having played yet. Their first game is tonight, and then China and Korea tied at the bottom at 0-1. So that is all the games that have happened to this point between the two pools. So the schedule for now, between tonight, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday key games. For Saturday, Sunday, tonight, and tomorrow, all the games. Which, by the way, keep in mind, because they are Japan and Taiwan, which are many hours ahead, these times are going to be whack in America time zones. But all the times I am giving are Eastern time. Figure it out based on your own time zone. But the first game tonight, which I will definitely be watching, will be Czech Republic's first game against China. They have Daniel Patisek on the mound facing Fuyang Zhao. That game is going to start at 10 p.m. Eastern on Tubi, which it basically is just Fox Sports on Tubi. It's like a streaming platform. If you have a TV login, it works for there. I used it to watch the Italy game earlier this morning. That will be at 10 p.m. And the other game tonight will be Cuba, who has Ronald Bolanos on the mound, against Panama, who has Andy Otero on the mound. That game will start at 11:30 on Fox Sports 1. That is it for tonight's games. Tomorrow morning, early morning games, Korea with Kwang Hyun Kim on the mound against Japan, who last I checked did not announce their starter. But this is always a big game because it's a big rivalry between Korea and Japan. Oh, sorry, Yu Darvish is starting for Japan. I can confirm that now. I just checked at the time of recording. That game's going to be at 5 a.m. on FS1. And then it is Italy, who's... Oh, even these starters have been announced now. I should have probably looked into this before going live. Italy against Chinese Taipei, 6 a.m. on Tubi. Ryan Castellani starting for Italy. 1 second. And then Xiao Qingqiang starting for Chinese Taipei. That game will be at 6 a.m. on Tubi. That is it. The key game, that is the late games tonight and the early games tomorrow morning for tomorrow and Friday for tonight and tomorrow. And 2 games I'm going to go over for 1 game for Saturday, 1 game for Sunday. I'm going to go over. U.S. kicks off their WBC Saturday from Arizona, 9 p.m. on Fox, taking on Great Britain. Adam Wainwright starting for Team USA, no start announced for Great Britain. And Team Israel will kick off their pool with opener against Team Nicaragua, who just took the Mets 6 2/3 no hit in the exhibition game. Dean Kramer starting for Team Israel, no announced starter for Nicaragua. That game will be on Fox Sports 2. That is the update and the schedule going into tonight for the next little bit. And obviously next episode, I'm also going to have to figure out what I'm going to do next episode because I've got a whole thing on Tuesday. It probably won't be Tuesday, or if it is on Tuesday, it will be pre-recorded. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with next week's episode. There will be an episode next week for sure. But that is WBC update. Now it's for some NFL news. Lamar Jackson's gotten a non-exclusive franchise tag, which basically means that teams can give him a contract to get him to play, but the Ravens can meet that if they wanted to. But they're basically saying, Lamar, if you think you could get better, go try and get better. But we can match it. Or they get draft picks in return. And then the Giants making big moves. Daniel Jones agreeing to a 4-year, $160 million deal with an additional $35 million in incentives. They overpaid for him by the end of the day. It's big that they're keeping him in the end. Paying $40 million a year. And then with that, they franchise tag Saquon Barkley, which is crucial that they kept both. And then Daron Payne getting the franchise tag from the Washington Commanders. That is the NFL news as of right now. And that is this week's episode of the podcast. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of the podcast. If you are new here on YouTube, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and leave a notification bell so you're notified when I go live and or post a video. If you are new on audio, follow the podcast, leave a review, and notification bell so you're notified when I post on there. I did post the episode with Sean on audio. It took me a bit because I did not record it for audio at the same time, and when I do that, I have to download it off YouTube and then put it up to audio, which I forgot for a few days, but I did put it up. It is up on audio. But that's it for this week's episode. I'll see you next week for episode 70. Bye.